Right, now I wanted to give a little a reference of the entire circuit of the fuel system around the car. That is to say, it starts at the pump there, that coming off the top of the pump, and that's the return line going back into the tank. And if we follow the fact that that's on the left, because I'm looking at the car backwards, that's on the left side of the car, and that's on the right side. If we now look at our hard lines, that corresponds to that one's on the left side of the car, that one's on the right side of the car. That is indeed our supply line, and if you forget, it's really simple to think what side of the car is the fuel filter on, because the fuel pump supplies the fuel filter. But we'll get to that anyway. So when you hook it up, you need to hook up your supply line to the one that's on the same side, as long as you put the boot in correctly, that is. Right, I'm going to go to the accumulator next, because that's where this, our supply line, heads off to. Okay, now here I am underneath the car. The front of the car is that way, and the rear of the car is that way, and our supply line now breaks out here. This is the dirty black hose you can see dropping down from the top of the chassis here and hooking around here. As you can see, that then whooshes back around into the accumulator, and all the accumulator is if you like, a balloon held inside a can. It's not actually a balloon, it's basically a piston on a spring, but if you think about it as being a balloon in a can, you'll be able to understand that the fuel then basically just comes straight out of this. So it goes in there, fills up in this cavity, and it comes straight out here, and then disappears off to the side of the chassis there. And then the next step is the fuel filter. Okay, our supply line now breaks out here and goes into the base of the fuel filter, which hopefully everyone's familiar with, which is on the left side of the transmission here, on the left side of the car still. And we have a hose connected to the top of the fuel filter, which we can hopefully just about see there, which goes off up into the engine bay. And we'll go there next. Okay, here's our hose coming up off the fuel filter. It comes off the left side. It usually runs up zip tied to the main coolant pipe. And this hose feeds the metering head back here. Then of course that feeds all the injectors and everything else on the engine, but we'll worry about that on another video. For now I'd just like to show you the return line, which starts with our 90-degree swept angle here, which goes off down onto the return line now on the right hand side of the car. And the connector is underneath the coil there, as you can see. And now it's back to the accumulator. Okay, now our return line, the hard line, runs there, which is along the top of the accumulator, and that is a T-piece, and it's simply T'd into there, and all this line, which hooks up to the back of the accumulator, does is it simply exists there to prevent any leaks to the outside world if the accumulator fails, and simply to provide a low pressure space for our balloon inside there to expand and contract whilst the fuel pump is running. And from that return line we head straight back to the fuel tank. And here's our return line popping out on the right hand side at the fuel tank, and will be connected up to our return line and return back into the baffle in the tank. So there we go.